On this week's episode of the Superhero Show, we'll find out where Secret Invasion lands in our Marvel show rankings, how Secret Invasion lands with its season finale, and if the taste buds are cuckoo for cartoons with reviews of new Invincible, Superman, and Harley Quinn. All of that and more on an all-new episode of the Superhero Show. Hello, nerds, and welcome to the Superhero Show, the only podcast that covers every single live-action TV show based on a comic book. I am your host for the evening, Mike Gravano, because Cassie and Caitlin got trapped at San Diego Comic-Con. They're not letting them out, and the San Diego Comic-Con police are strict, and they live by Punisher rules, and I'm not going to fuck with that.
Oh, no, we had the bail money. Oh, did you want to introduce me first, by the way?
And here's my pal, Ryan.
We had the bail money, but then they were like, oh, take that bail money to this donkey show about 40 miles south of San Diego. And then we spent it all throwing dollar bills at the donkey because that donkey was hot.
He was eating so many carrots.
Yeah.
So sexily. Also, they said donkey show. We couldn't find it. Just found a farm with a donkey.
And we created our own show.
I love donkeys.
DIY.
DIY. True story.
Donkey is you.
Donkey is you. We is all donkey. We all like parfaits.
True
for the
story.
third time, true story. On my bachelor party, one of my favorite moments is we stayed in a farmhouse. You were there. Mm-hmm. And I would wake up, grab some sugar cubes, and just walk down and feed a donkey sugar cubes alone, thinking about what a great weekend it was.
Now, you didn't feed the stripper that was getting fucked by the donkey. Was that weird?
She said she was on a sugar cleanse.
Sugar-free diet.
A sugar-free diet.
Yeah.
So I just gave her aspartame.
Do you legit think that the donkey show is a real thing?
I really hope not.
We didn't have a stripper getting fucked by a donkey. Let me just make that clear at Mike's bachelor party.
It's horrifying. I mean, we looked, and everybody said no and spit on us, which is rude.
Through the internet.
It is terrifying. Nothing's worse than a digital spit, Ryan. That's where you should start rapping. I'm digital spit, Ryan. Everybody gonna be crying.
God, I always miss every opportunity to rap.
That's what I know about you.
What actually happened on Mike's bachelor party is that we had a very G-rated time on a farm with a donkey, and no strippers were harmed or penetrated.
And I would legit start my mornings by feeding it sugar cubes.
And rapping that rap that you just did.
Yeah. I've been spitting this digital spit, Ryan, for years. Is that a problem that I just took your real name as my rap name?
No, I think that's fine. You did text me ahead of time and say, is that cool? And if my wife can be one of your hoes, I cannot actually say that's cool. Her body, her choice. But the rest of it's fine. I don't care.
And my EB tracks are, here's Ryan's real phone number. Here's Ryan's real social security.
Yeah.
And
I don't care.
Like, yeah.
Because honestly, most people, they're drunk when they're listening and they're dialing my social security number into their phone and they're not getting a hold of me.
But you can find that EP on my Bandcamp at Digital Spit Ryan.
I ask you this like once a month or so, but do you remember that guy who put his social security number on the sides of trucks because he knew how locked in his security was on his computer, and then he just got gangbanged by identity theft?
No, I know you. It rings the smallest of bells, the tiniest tinkly bell.
Who's more important to us in our lives, that guy or the guy who's a producer of Jeopardy, who said we can't find a host? I'll do it.
That guy we talk about weekly. Legit, listeners, I don't know if you know this. Ryan and I talk nearly daily, and we don't record most of it. Contrary to popular belief, or popular to contrarian believers. And most of our conversations are about our hero, the producer of Jeopardy.
Guy.
Who said, fuck it, I'll be the host.
I literally have a phone and computer in front of me. I'm not going to look up his name. Don't care. It's just the guy who produced Jeopardy who was like, you know what? It's going to be May.
It's fortunately his first name is Mike because there's only trash Mikes out in the world.
Is his last name Ryan?
His last name is Ryan. It's
crazy.
It's our hero, Mike Ryan, who did everything we wanted to do. Ryan,
yes,
we're going to talk about more heroes tonight of ours. There is a chock full show. We have Invincible presents the Atom Eve hour. Harley Quinn is back for season 4. My Adventures with Superman continues. And we're going to rank all 9 Marvel Disney Plus TV shows.
And it's just the boys here. Cassie and Caitlin are in a Tijuana jail, so they cannot affect these new rankings.
These are the rankings that are locked in and loaded with nuclear codes. But before we do all of that, my friend, we're talking about Secret Invasion. In the series finale of Secret Invasion, everything comes to a head as Gravik beats up a radiated Fury and gains all the powers of the Harvest, only to discover Fury is Gaia, and then they both have literally every superpower we've ever seen in the MCU. And the real Fury, he's taken out a bunch of Secret Service guards with the help of Sonya, and they kill fake Rhodey to save the president, who then learns about Skrulls, but then says he's going to kill every green slimy bastard he sees, which sets off the Skrull kill cruise. And then Fury and his wife make up and leave the planet. Tasty Ryan, I ask you this. What's thread left hanging in the season finale would you like to see a second season about?
Oh, I mean, obviously, first of all, I would like no second season.
Yes, that is the hope. The dream.
I would like the entire MCU. And I have not said this. Like, everyone else has been saying this. I have not said this. I'm now saying it. I would like the entire MCU to get on that spaceship with Nick Fury and his wife and just go away for like 5 years or so.
Yes.
This wore me out. This was trash.
It was bad. I was going to say from start to finish. Not true. From 4 through 6. No, 3 through 6. The first 2 were fine.
When you say fine, like, I disagree with you. And therefore change your opinion. Now, you think that...
I forgot about legally.
Right. I was so hyped for it that maybe that pushed me through the first episode, but man, like, what was this show trying to be? Was it a love story between Nick and Priscilla?
I don't know.
Was it
they forget that a lot?
Was it that classic, like, remember the movie The Thing?
Uh-huh.
Where, like, we don't know who's who, so we're just going to have guns at everyone's head? It could have been that.
But they didn't do that enough.
It was definitely not that.
Was it a buddy rom-com between Talos and Fury? They did that too much.
And always half-assedly. Was it just a opportunity to show a bunch of Marvel character powers without having to pay the actors who previously had those powers?
Let's get to the end. Gravik and Gaia, Gigi, have gone through the
let me just say real quick that at no point did I think that coughing Fury was Nick Fury. I knew it was Gaia the entire time.
Instantly, well, this is a Skrull. Because Fury would have taken the pills. So they both get... I thought at least we'd get like a fly thing, because if you're in a DNA-changing machine, don't have another living being in there with you, because you don't know what's going to happen. But no, it just means they both got literally every single Marvel superpower we've ever seen. The funniest of which was at some point Gaia had a Drax arm, but it was still the size of Emily.
Her arm, Amelia Clark's arm.
It was just this.
Baby
she had a
Drax.
It looked like a baby arm, and she just punched Gravik with it. And like, why even switch? Why go from Groot to Drax? Just stay at the strongest. What are you doing?
I can't believe that Drax, when he dropped his DNA, his blood into the earth in that battle, it came with the tattoos and scars that he had. Should we even...
That's how DNA works.
Is there any point into getting into this type of conversation here with this show?
It's this show... Skrull Rhodey... Now I'm just jumping. Are we just moving on from their big, stupid fucking cartoon fight? It is... I've never seen anything... And we've watched a lot of dog shit through the years, Ryan. We're like at 490 episodes of the Superhero Show. I can't remember the last time we watched something that just felt like a 4-year-old playing with 2 action figures and smashing them together,
slamming them together.
That's
There's no
what that fight scene was.
There's no enjoying the 17 or 19 points of movement that these articulation that these action figures have. It's just literally like slam, 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 slam.
I'm so upset with young me forcing my parents to watch me play with my action figures as a kid, as I used to every Saturday evening for Mike.
They would say, Mike, use the articulation. Mike, use the articulation better.
And then I would whip the sharpest toy I had at their face anytime they said that. Wolverine, claws out, bitch.
But yeah, it just became a classic, all right, CGI, take me away.
And if they both have all the powers and they both can heal, I literally watched this morning and can't remember how Gaia won.
Yeah.
She punched harder through a chest than he punched harder through her chest?
Punch harder or punch more or punch later, be the latest to punch more often. Who knows?
It reminded me of a movie that I generally stand behind before a lot of people. X-Men First Class, when the guy whose power is to be unkillable, the one black guy in the X-Men, dies for no reason. Okay, movie. We just got over that. That's his thing. Where their thing is, I can heal from punches or half my face getting blown off. Nah, but she punched that special part of his sternum.
But this could have been cool, despite the CGI. Let me explain. Please. Gaia and Gravik spend 6 episodes trying to gather powers for this ultimate fight. And now we know what the stakes are. We know what we're rooting for. They're trying to grab DNA blood or their DNA or blood. They're trying to figure out, he's got Frost Giant, so I need Heat Vision or whatever. And Jack. Get Heat
He's
Vision
got Jack.
Jack.
I love you.
But that would be stakes. We would know what was happening instead of 6 hours of fucking nothing, man.
And maybe thematically, these 2 young spies / freedom fighters don't like the way the elders have handled things. So they are going to argue and fight verbally and physically about those differences. No, that we never did that shit.
And Gaia has some interesting points, but there's some flaws in her argument. And Gravik, little strong, coming on too strong, but does have some good points. Now we're interested. And we don't need anything more.
No, that'd be great. But they would just be like, and Talos was so weak. Nobody had a good reason of why they hated Talos. Just because he was the old guard. Gravik in this one yelling at Fake Fury, being like, you made me kill people. But it was too dumb, and even the argument, the whole show was too dumb, and then the argument landed flat. It didn't make any sense.
And I came into this episode thinking, okay, but I can still like this one episode. And then that Gravik Fury argument was so edited to shit, with so much voiceover and clearly people were talking when they were not talking.
Right.
This entire thing was a mess.
Everybody gave up. And then I think I've said this on the show. I like Don Cheadle. I think he's a great actor. I think he can be very funny and very charming and very dramatic. He can do it all. And this feels like a fucking war crime, what they made him. The scenery chewing and overacting. And the scenery in this is just dimly lit hallways. Just to show that he's not your daddy's roadie sucked, man. I felt so bad to watch him.
Because Rhodey, as we know him, is I want to do what's right. And I'm Tony Stark's best friend. And sometimes I will raise an eyebrow to Tony Stark because I think he's going too far. Right. And so what that means is that the scroll that took over him is Scrody is fuck that shit. I'm just going to act.
This scroll watched nothing but Ace Ventura When Nature Calls back to back to back to back and decided to inject that kind of acting into Rhodey.
Didn't even check in on the subtlety of Ace Ventura Pet Detective. Went straight to the sequel.
And the end, when we see all the people coming out of their pods, because the president didn't nuke them, all the people who've been scrolled. Martin Freeman looks at Rhodey. None of them know how long they've been here, but he goes, how long have you been here? And so in Armor Wars, we're going to fucking find out Rhodey, as long as we've known Rhodey as Don Cheadle, it's been a Skrull or some shit. And they're going to do a wink, be like, because it's not Terrence Howard.
I think that, honestly, if I had to predict, I think that we're going to get, because everything is becoming closer to comic books in the best ways and the worst ways, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, we have all of this inclusion, and we have, like, all of the characters that are up in each other's asses, but also the convolution is happening. I think that we're very close to Armor Wars, if that's a movie.
Uh-huh.
It just comes up, and there's a little box that says, Secret Invasion never happened. And then we just move on.
Oh, they're just like, let's not talk about it.
It's time to start crisising certain storylines.
Gotcha. I would rather than memory hole stuff. Inhumans this shit. Don't even mention that. Let's just move on. Like, that's the benefit of these kinds of stories when they're at their best, is it's not like, oh, I need Batman, and because we'll talk about Harley Quinn later, I need Batman to think about everything he's ever done or said to every Robin. Nah, sometimes this story just needs this Robin, man. Let's move on.
And therefore, you have to delete Batman from your story.
Yes.
That's what that's what I think. Like, Nick Fury was a problem here. If this had been all new characters, then we could have, I don't know, explored more. Like, I don't know what the show was trying to be. I know what I wanted it to be, and that's not fair, right? Like, I read the comic book, and I know what I expected, and that's not fair. But what the show gave me was none of any of it.
No, I don't think the show. Yeah, like, the show did not have a goal. But yeah, if everybody was wrestling with the shadow of Nick Fury and he never showed up,
already, Mike, like, already sounds more interesting than anything I watched.
I don't want to talk about this show anymore. This show was a super bummer, man.
Yeah,
and
I mean,
do you know, the end. Priscilla and Fury are apologizing to each other. And he's like, well, I'm going back to space.
And the spaceship is like wanting to leave. And then the alien slams on its horn. It's like, brr, 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 brr.
And she's like, yeah, but I feel like for whatever reason, the best work I can do is here and now. And he's like, okay, cool. But then they still both walked to I was like, wait, was there a scene like they walked on the spaceship together? And I was like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then
also, Gaia is a Super Skrull now in the world. Like, she just has
every power,
Captain Marvel capabilities. Like, so she's the most powerful person on the planet.
And she's just going to work for Olivia Colman.
But she could be killed as easily as Gravik could be. So then she's not the most powerful person on the planet.
If you punch just slightly to the right on her chest, that's her kryptonite.
Every time you're in a junkyard, there will be one pipe that is deadly. And if you throw people directly on that pipe, they will die.
My move to get in their head is to shove my hand through that pipe right away.
Oh, shit. Now that pipe is used. It will never be used again.
Can't hurt me.
Fuck you. Boom. Now you're on it.
Now you're on it. How do we feel about, is this Dermot Mulroney?
I think that was good. Dylan McDermott is not him.
Dylan McDermott. I didn't do my voice memos before the show started. I'm sorry. Dylan McDermott, Dermot Mulroney. He's played an asshole in a couple things I've watched this year. He was in Scream 6, and I thought he was a great asshole in that.
Was he the killer?
I'm not going to reveal anything, Ryan.
I haven't watched it yet, so I'm thinking he is.
I'm not going to reveal anything. He dated this quirky kindergarten teacher.
Wait, is it Jess Day?
It's Jess Day who's the real killer. She only kills during the day.
Jessica damn day.
He went from like a non-entity to fine to out DeSantising. Being man. So it Mike, made no fucking. It was not an arc. What's do characters ever have plummets? Is that a literary term? A character plummet?
Bridgeless gaps.
Sure.
We're gonna talk about this with another show later about these fucking men who are just like, well, one sort of hard thing happened to me. I hate all people that are different than me. So his speech to the world. To get over the Skrull attack was any off-world people should be murdered instantly.
I will kill any alien I see.
And
from Alien A to Alien Z.
That cut to a montage of
Skrull kill crew?
killing Skrulls, and then somebody saying, "Oh, I think they're a Skrull. I'm going to kill them," and then they're not a Skrull, and then the person be like, "Oh fuck," and then running away,
fuck. And then Skrulls being like, "Well, we'll kill you too," and then be like, "I never expected that." It was the silliest montage.
And then Fury calls the president back. He's like, "Are you fucking dumb? Are you fucking dumb as shit? Are you the dumbest boy in Dumbtown?
Are you the dumbest boy in Dumbtown?" Ryan, what's your moment of the week?
Oh, man, Mike, I forgot about this. My moment of the week is the 17 minutes where, for sure, Rhodes is a Skrull.
Uh-huh.
And the president's like, what? This way? And he's got...
I wanted him to just put the gun to his own head, which is what I would do. I was like, I can't trust anyone. I'm out.
But, like, if Olivia Colman or Samuel L. Jackson put a bullet in his head at the beginning of the conversation, and I know we're not supposed to have these types of conversations, but if he had done that immediately, then this would have been over. But they needed all of the other montages to happen. This show was bad.
It was a bad show. Mine, it made me snort with derisive. How do you say that word?
Derisiveness.
Derisive laughter. Baby Drax's arm is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, man.
Amelia Clark is so small and petite. I
tried.
I would have liked like a tiny baby Groot leg. What? I got something.
You got fucking something.
It's draft time. Let's go to draft time, Mike. Let's play the draft time music. I am going to take, and these are DNA powers, not technical powers, right?
Sure.
I think I'm going to take Steve Rogers Super Soldier Serum with the first pick. That's my arm.
I'm going to take Carol Danvers' leg.
I'm going to take Gamora's arm that holds the sword for my second arm. Not the one that doesn't hold the sword.
It's so badass in rules. I'm going to take a Groot arm.
It is pretty badass. All right. I am going to take Quicksilver's right leg.
It did feel like there were some Quicksilver powers, even though he died years before.
But also, what happens to my left leg when my right leg starts running like
ripped off your body?
So you could literally take the power of my left leg by picking up my left leg.
Yes. I'm going to take Scarlet Witch's right arm.
Which what? Does chaos magic? Whatever.
Just some fun chaos magic.
Which what? Does some magic that has no definition and you can do whatever you want?
Mm-hmm. Heard of it?
Whatever. And my final thing, which is my right leg, I'm going to take Rocket Raccoon's powerless right leg. And I'm going to limp forever.
Well, now you're not going to lose that leg when you use your Quicksilver hop.
Yeah, dude. I'm just going to run around in circles. You get one more, but I just want you to imagine me running with Quicksilver and Rocket Raccoon's legs and just the circles I will run.
I'm going to take Ang Lee's Hulk's cock.
Unfortunately, Mike, you get Ang Lee's cock.
Oh, that man gets down. So that's fine. So that is the draft. And that reminds me of something we talked about a little earlier, Ryan. Oh, Secret Invasion is done. Long live Secret Invasion. Hopefully there's never a second season. But Ryan, you did say you had a website.
Mm-hmm.
And it was related to Ang Lee's cock. And what were you saying about that?
Oh, I'm going to go to angleewhoshouldhavebeen.com.
Uh-huh.
Well, I mean, Mike, you know a little bit about this. You've been building it with me, so, you know.
Oh, I'm more of a silent partner.
Oh, you are? Okay, so basically, if you wanted any other character from an Ang Lee movie to be in Hulk, this is your website to do it. So, if you wanted Pi from The Life of Pi to be Hulk, you can go here, type that in, get your keyboard, type in on the website, I want him to be that, and then he will do that.
And you'll see a scene.
You'll see
the
one
scene where he's punching dogs and tanks.
Right.
We don't have we only had enough money to buy the rights to that scene. We couldn't buy the whole movie yet.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, we did not have the money to buy any scenes.
No. My favorite so far is I want to see Dimitri Martin from Taking Woodstock as Hulk. And it's just the littlest, driest, sardonic comedian holding a poster board fighting dogs and tanks.
You're so good at always bringing up the best movie from any director, and that is Ang Lee's Taking Woodstock.
Isn't that a superpower I have?
There's one scene in The Hulk where Bruce Banner, as the Hulk, has to confront Betsy Ross, who made the flag?
No, Betty Ross.
Betsy Ross. And Hulk becomes older Will Smith from Gemini Man, and Betsy Ross becomes younger Will Smith from Gemini Man, and that's an Ang Lee movie that you're watching.
There's a scene from the Hulk, and by that, when we say this, is that we typed in where it's, I just wanted to see how long the Hulk could get on a halftime walk. It's Ang Lee's Incredible Hulk's long halftime walk.
No, can he walk further than Billy Wilder? What's his name?
Billy Lynn. But unfortunately, the music from the 1970s Hulk show does start playing on his long walk.
Billy Lynn?
Billy Lynn.
Oh, man, I dare you to find us somebody who's seen that movie.
Do you have any other Ang Lee movies you want to talk about?
Wait, hold on. And of course, there's always... did we talk about Taking Woodstock?
We did.
That's it. Then, Mike, that's my... who do you want to see in this angleemovie.com?
Well, I have somebody who can help you with that. But before, there's the scene where Hulk wishes he could quit. Betty spits into his hand.
Oh, how do we not do Brokeback Mountain?
And then it's horrifying.
I love how Hulk thinks a little bit of spit is going to handle this situation.
just a little bit of Hulk spit, right? You should go to my friend Cybersprout and ask them how they can help you make this a reality. They are design experts. They are so well versed in digital strategy and elegant design. And
Mike, will they help us out with that scene where Hulk grabs Demetri Martin and says, "I'm going to spit in my hand"?
Yes. Hulk replaces Liev Schreiber there. Cybersprout, they're going to work hand in hand and spit-covered hand with you. They have tools and training. They make managing and tweaking your website a breeze. Easy to edit fields, custom templates, drag and drop tools. They love handling maintenance. They are perverts for handling the maintenance, the speed optimization for you, the hosting, backups. They're freaks for it. They'll even migrate your website for free. That is my friends at cybersprout.net. They are your partner for the digital world. We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, Ryan, we are going to rank every single MCU Disney Plus show that's ever been made. It is time for a patented superhero show bullpen. And that's when we play little games and talk about the wider world of everything that's going on. As I hinted at before the break, and by hinted at, said, tonight's bullpen, we're ranking Disney Plus Marvel shows.
Oh, fuck, Mike. I had the facts from the board that gave our last ranking, and I just accidentally slipped on a banana peel and then doused it in iced tea and flammable liquid and lit it on fire.
And the board does not back things up digitally. They are quill to paper kinds of people.
Can we just restart and do it again?
I guess we got to restart and do it again. And I do have to dictate that this is not special presentations. This is just TV series, correct?
Yes. No Werewolf by Night, no Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because those would win. So, we're going to talk about TV series, more than one entry. And just in case you're like, well, I want to Google the things. This is not fucking Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is not the Defenders-averse. This is Disney
Cloak
Plus
and Dagger.
Originals. Not Cloak and Dagger. Not Runaways.
Inhumans? Oh, what about Hellstrom?
Hellstrom's included. We are adventuring into Veer.
Hey, and listeners, anytime we're doing any list, Hellstrom is included. That's how important he is to us.
We celebrate everything old Danny Hellstrom brings to the table.
And right away, Mike, I know that you want to build suspense to start at the bottom, but I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to put Legends of Tomorrow right as number one.
Legends of Tomorrow does win for Best Disney Plus Marvel TV Show. They do everything we like about Marvel. Everything we like about Marvel Comics
and Marvel Doo-Doo.
Show.
Is Marvel Doo-Doo a better name for this podcast?
We are the Marvel Doo-Doo. We do all the Marvel Doo-Doo. Ryan, let's start from the bottom, and now we're here. What do you got?
I would love to put Drake here as the single worst thing that the world has presented to us, but Mike, are you going to hate me or are you going to call me out if I say Secret Invasion is number 9?
No, I don't know if it's recency bias or just we are older and wiser and can see Secret Invasion was dog shit.
It sucked, man. I can come up with better reasons why the things above it will be better.
Yeah, I think every show that we're about to talk about, I would not loathe watching again. And I cannot say that for Secret Invasion. So we agree there. Now, Ryan, is when we start fighting. What's your number 8 show?
My number 8 show is a show that does not involve your go-to Marvel character, but people around them. It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Now, do you want to know my number 8 show, or do you want to say your reasons for why that's yours?
I want to know your number 8 show, bitch.
Moon Knight.
Oh, Mike, I will absolutely. I struggled here, and I will absolutely put Moon Knight second to last.
I kept trying to think about it. I was like, I mean, we love Oscar Isaac. There's cool. What did we have? Oh, any of the execution was not actually great.
Oscar, and this also could be like, I don't know, preliminary feelings. We were so excited. Oscar Isaac and Ethan Hawke a show together. Moon Knight, yeah.
So Moon Knight is our number 8. Ryan, now I think I know what your number 7 will be.
It's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Do you want to hear mine?
Yeah.
What if I told you it was a little cartoon show called What If, Ryan?
Now, I definitely think that this should be Falcon and Winter Soldier because Moon Knight did not have the best batting average, but its highs were so much higher. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier came after another show that we'll mention later.
Sure. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I think the biggest, and we'll talk about these shows later, it was third, right? I think it was third of 3 shows, and 2 were like, oh shit, look what they can do. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier went, oh, okay.
You are obviously worse than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. No, absolutely not. I can't put this higher than What If.
So, okay. I disagree heartily. But I also remember you were the strongest proponent of What If on the show, and I think I was the biggest detractor. But much to my chagrin, because I love Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, and I think it did a lot of fun things. But fine.
You gonna watch Twisted Metal?
I am, because I love Anthony Mackie so much. And Ryan, he's trying to take a package across country in a post-apocalyptic world. Can you imagine a more Mike Gravano fucking TV pitch?
No, I mean, yes, absolutely I can, but I'm not a TV executive. So I think that right now we're going with What If. Not in the top 5, but I still think the batting average was better than you think it is, but... So
Secret Invasion number 9, Moon Knight number 8, and you're saying number 7 is Falcon, or is it What If?
Number 7 is Falcon, number 6 out of the top 5 is What If.
Number 6 is What If. Okay. Do you want to know what my number 6 was?
No, because we're going to talk about it right now. Oh, wait, yes. And now we're here now. So yes, I do.
We're going to talk about it right now, and I guess it'll become number 5. Number 5 originally was Falcon and Winter Soldier for me. Is Ms. Marvel. She is amazing. She is so good and utterly watchable, and anything that had to do with her and her parents was phenomenal. Unfortunately, that was about a fifth of the show. And there was so much trash, bullshit, the world could end, garbage.
Now, I'm going to bring up my number 5, and I'm going to watch your face, and then we're going to adjust. It's Hawkeye, which I just thought had more boring MCU. We're going to fucking piddle-paddle water. It doesn't matter. Let's just get episodes out than Ms. Marvel did.
I think Hawkeye... It had more MCU, but when I say that, I mean the first few phases. Was it formulaic? Sure, but its lows were not low. And Ms. Marvel's lows, the villain's like, here's what I've always wanted. And out of nowhere, they're like, I don't want that anymore.
Well, let me ask you this. Do we move on and pick something else to be number 5 because we think that both of these shows should be in the top 4?
Okay.
Should we dance around this a little bit?
Are we compromising?
Yeah.
Sure.
Because I would love to know what So I have Hawkeye as 5. You have Ms. Marvel. But what if we have the same number 4? Should that be number 5?
Should we say it? I'm going to say 3, 2, 1. We'll say it.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. She-Hulk.
She-Hulk.
Yep. We love Tatiana Maslany here. Anytime the closer we love, what's the fucking actor's name? He was Prometheus. It's so crazy that I met him as Prometheus on Arrow because he is only hilarious in everything else I've seen him.
But man, like what I said about What If, you want to talk about the highest highs and the lowest lows.
Yeah.
When She-Hulk was great. It was the greatest. And when it was the not good, it was bad, man.
But every time it was closer to a sitcom, it was great. And every time it was anything Marvel, it sucked.
All right, so now I know what our next 2 are. We just have to figure out the order.
If I can, Hawkeye was my original number 3. I think it die-hearted perfectly of a Christmas Story. The dynamic between Kate and Clint was so great. We had Yelena show up every once in a while. Echo I thought was dope. It was a tight, succinct story that knew from the beginning where it wanted to go.
So my list is Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, Hawkeye, and your list is Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel, She-Hulk, right?
Yes.
Or something like that.
So now we're just fighting for Hawkeye, Ms. Marvel.
Right. So we're scraping here. And my thing is that Hawkeye, the show, said goodbye to Hawkeye, the character, who was never really great.
Mm-hmm.
And I will always take Ms. Marvel, which introduced us to Iman Vellani's character, which will always be great, even if the show...
She can soar. I'll give you that because I love Hawkeye, the comic character. I was going to say not underrated, not overrated, perfectly rated Age of Ultron. The best Hawkeye moment of the MCU before the show Hawkeye is him going, I'm a guy with an arrow. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing here.
Have you watched the show Arrow? That's like me, but now there's Ultron over there. That's crazy, right?
It's crazy. I miss Stephen Amell. Fine.
All right, so
I know we're speaking in Mike and Ryan right now, or should we be laying stuff out a little more clearly?
Right now, your number 9 show is Secret Invasion. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Your number 8 show is Moon Knight. Your number 7 show is The Falcon and Winter Soldier. So far, right there, do you think that we are going against the grain of popular culture?
No, I don't know how pop culture feels about Secret Invasion, but I'm guessing similar to we do, because it was a terrible show.
I think that popular culture likes Moon Knight a lot more than we do.
That's true.
Number 6 is What If. Number 5 is She-Hulk.
Uh-huh.
Number 4 is Hawkeye. Number 3 is Ms. Marvel.
That seems crazy high to me, but okay.
Really? Like, instead of being number 3, Ms. Marvel should be number 4, and that seems crazy to you? Like
my Ms. Marvel was way lower. Ryan, we're making a show here.
Sorry that I love women. We have 2 shows left, Mike, and I'm not even sure that popular culture would decide that these are the top 2 shows.
Really? Because I looked at this, I was like, clearly this is boring, right? Because everybody knows these are the top 2 shows.
For me, number 1 and number 2, and number 3, my number 3 being Ms. Marvel, were so clear. Like, number 2 could not be number 1, and number 3 could not be number 2.
Okay. I agree with 1 and 2, and for different reasons. I'm going to describe my number 2, and then you get to guess which one it is.
Brown, milky, full of corn.
This man eats fiber. It was so good and perfectly acted, and from start to finish, like it set its bar and matched it and gave us like new duos and dynamics, but didn't necessarily try to shake things up or introduce new vibes into the MCU.
This is your number 2?
Yes.
You're clearly describing Loki.
Yes.
Okay.
Is that your number 2?
Yes, that's my number 2. And I think it's because watching... I don't know. What's the last Marvel movie I watched?
Quantumania
or Wakanda Forever. There's no decision. There's no creative decisions being made.
Right.
And with WandaVision, I'm like, this is a thing all to its own. And sure, all it's doing is harkening back to the nostalgia of my generation.
But that is you and me, baby.
And 2 generations before me. I mean, we're doing like I Love Lucy here or Dick Van Dyke Show.
But Ryan, if you were like me, and I know not you because you were rich and had cable, I Love Lucy, I thought was a just sort of older show. I didn't know it was decades before my time because it was on all the time at home.
I hope that our 19 of WandaVision and Loki is the top 2 shows, and this weekend, as of recording, their 19 of Barbie and Oppenheimer are like, hey man, let directors make choices. Let showrunners make choices. Can we do that, huh?
What if it felt... Do you know what makes comics beautiful? It's not that it's all in the same world. It's that the Punisher can hang out with Spider-Man, and they are so fucking different.
Man, if you had told me a couple years ago that Oscar Isaac would be Moon Knight and that show would end up in 8th place, I would be shocked.
And I wonder, it is like expectations, reality has to do with it, but...
That show was a mess.
It was a mess, and part of expectations were because of how fucking good WandaVision and then Loki were. They set the bar so high, and then these fuckers just keep delivering worse and worse dreck to us and saying, eat it up, piggies. Ryan, one more time, bottom up. What is the official, unarguable, I don't care that I wasn't on that show, guys. This is the official superhero show ranking of the Disney Plus shows.
Bottom up, and I don't like the reverse recency bias that's going on because that means that we have issues in the MCU. But number 9 is Secret Invasion. Number 8 is Moon Knight. Number 7 is The Falcon and Winter Soldier. Number 6 is What If. Number 5 is She-Hulk. Number 4 is Hawkeye. Number 3 is Ms. Marvel. Number 2 is Loki. And number 1 is WandaVision.
I think it's a nearly perfect list, even though it's different from what I said.
I'll say this. I don't know about... I think it's Echo is the next one. That'll probably be 10.
No,
that's what I'm saying.
Hope not.
No, that's just where...
And it'll just keep going from there because they're not going to try anymore.
Nope.
Well, what a weird time it is to be a nerd. We're going to take the quickest of breaks, and when we come back, every other show we watch this week. It is time for the pull list, where we talk about every other show that came out this week, starting with Mike Gravano's Adventures with Superman. This week on Adventures with Superman, Clark, Lois, and Jimmy cover a glitzy gala hosted by tech billionaire Dr. Ivo. But while Clark and Lois wonder if this counts as a date, Ivo unleashes his newest invention, a creation that can bring down Superman, a.k.a. a parasite suit. Tasty Ryan, I ask you this. How does this silly cartoon do at lampooning the self-seriousness and selfishness of Silicon Valley tech bros?
Amazing sentence, Mike. Thank you for that. I watched the re-premiere of Futurama this week, and it tried so hard to satirize in a way that failed, especially compared to My Adventures with Superman, which does it right, dude. Like, again, we're talking about how it's not the villains of Superman, it's the villains of Clark Kent. You know, in Superman and Lois, who do we talk about all the time? It's Eric with his fucking, is that his name? Carl? Dave? George?
Kyle. Air guitar Kyle.
With his, I'm going to barbecue while air guitaring. And yeah, it's just, that's the villain. It's not the powers. It's the, like, Dr. Ivo, if that's what you want to call him, is doing a presentation in front of a bunch of, stockholders or
Muckety mucks.
And
it is stockholders, yeah.
Doesn't even have an announcer. He announces himself as he comes to the stage. Mike,
that's how you know.
What else do I need to explain to you?
What a Zuck Elon fuck. Do you know what I really appreciated about this episode is I do feel like in years past, Alex is Ivo's assistant, and Ivo does treat Alex like shit. And so you're like, oh, Alex is going to help Lois and Jimmy at some point defeat Ivo. No, Alex is also a monster because you are enabling the biggest self-absorbed piece of shit. You also suck.
Right. And so Alex is the ultimate bad guy? Is that what you're saying?
No. Ivo's still worse, but I just did appreciate that they were like, look at this put-upon assistant who could do good with this money and ideas. No. If you are raising this person on a pedestal, you also are bad.
Also,
you're a cat turd too.
How much time on this podcast have we spent talking about Cat Turd and how I'm not a fan, but you love everything that guy says?
0. Look, I don't like Cat Turd 2. I preferred it when it was Cat Turd 1.
Sure. You love Cat Turd Classic.
I love
You love the
Cat
taste.
Turd
You love the
Classic.
crispness.
They use real sugar. Have you had Mexican cat turds?
Is it a Superman thing? And I'm just now noticing, even though the character has been around for thousands of years, that just look at the facial hair and you will be able to tell who is the bad guy in any given situation?
I don't know if that's a Superman specific thing. That might just be I know you consider yourself a connoisseur of Hollywood, but I think you're just realizing that might give you some hints.
Hey, Mike, I will often be standing at parties swirling my brandy, and people will come up to me and say, "What are you a connoisseur of?" You don't have to run over and be like, "He's a connoisseur of Hollywood." I can handle that for myself, thank you.
But now you've just proven maybe you're not.
Can I ask you a question?
I'll allow it.
Smallville, Superman, and Lois fan. No Luthor yet. Lois is like Clark plus minus glasses is Superman. That happened at the end of this episode.
So quick in. I really like that because the whole thing is she's a smart dame.
Right.
And I can use that word because that's Superman's old and that's an old word.
She's a smart lady with a set of gams that go all the way up.
All the way up to here. And is bootylicious. Yeah, no, I love it that she's just like, wait, I've hung out with both of these guys enough. That's fucking Superman.
Have you, after 4 episodes, missed Luthor?
No. Superman, he doesn't have Batman's Rogues Gallery or Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery or The Flash's Rogues Gallery, but I don't need Luthor. They've showed us Parasite. They've showed us Inner Gang. We're cool, man.
Do you know who his enemy is?
Is it Clark?
It's Lois and his love for Lois.
Oh.
Like, this show is far more. It's far less of a superheroes defeat the bad guys, and it's more of a how do you climb the ladder of journalism show.
Yes,
Perry White is his villain more than Luthor is.
Do you know what? It's an anime-inspired cartoon based on Superman. Do you know what's been reminding me of in a weird way? Is Ally McBeal. So all of that makes sense to me.
Do you know, can I, headphones off, listeners? Can Mike and I just have a minute?
Listeners. Can we just have a fucking minute, listeners?
My 2.5, almost 3-year-old daughter, who has a room full of Spider-Man and painted on her walls as Spider-Man. I think I've told this story when we watched the first 2, but it's getting worse. She just wants Superman. And I'm not even sad.
And isn't that every parent's nightmare?
Because, like, this is the original superhero, right? Like, let's start her from the beginning. Let's start her from the basics. But
she should know the history.
Wouldn't even if she and she's like always like, who's that? I'm like, Lois Lane. She's a reporter. And she's like, why isn't she Superman? And I'm like, she is.
If you want to start her from the beginning, should you tell her the tales of Heracles and Odysseus first?
Well, no. Start from the beginning. I bought her a 9.9 CGC rated copy of Action Comics number 39, and she's reading that.
Such a good dad.
Yeah. It was.
I don't love that her grubby little 3-year-old hands.
No, I cracked it out of the slab immediately.
I'm gonna barf.
And I let her read that because comics are meant to be read.
That is more money than my house and my car put together for your toddler.
I gotta say though, man, your house and your car put together, you could just buy a Winnebago.
Why don't I just buy a Winnebago
and get that slabbed? Send it to the CGC. It's a 9.8 Winnebago.
Ryan, what's your moment of the week?
My moment of the week is Dr. Evo, who became Parasite, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know, does the average person know that Parasite is like kind of a big Superman villain?
I don't know. I love Parasite, and I feel like he doesn't get enough play. So I'm going to steal your... Mine is just when I realized this was a Parasite story. I fucking loved it. That was my favorite Estaz episode was Parasite.
And you were almost Parasite during the ads. We did one Cybersprout ad for one site, but I was hoping that you would do a Parasites. But Clark, or the ambulance was walking him out, and he was like shriveled and old because of all of his parasiting. And then he looks up at Clark and says, how could you do this? It's like, bitch, do any of your decisions have repercussions? Is this
very fine people?
And Clark is all like, God, what have I done? What have I done that made him do all of this villainous shit?
Clark, you're too good for this world, which means you're a fucking idiot. My adventures with Superman happen every night in my dreams, and also on Thursdays on HBO Max. Your next show is Riverdale.
On this week's episode of Riverdale, everyone's getting horny. For the first time in this show's history, the teens are hard and wet and ready to get fucked. Veronica decides to show a porno at her theater.
What?
But it is quickly turned off when they realize it stars Betty's sister. Meanwhile,
Polly?
Polly, yeah. Meanwhile, Archie and Reggie get duped into watching a gay porn and kind of like it and maybe want to fuck each other. Taste buds, I ask you this. What do you think Archie and Reggie do after watching a gay porn together?
I don't know. I got hard thinking about them watching a gay porn together. So my guess is start to touch each other's abs, maybe wash some shirts on each other's abs.
I am asking this question because I want to see if you can predict this episode of Riverdale and also what is in our future plans for the next week or two, let's say. No, they do. They look like they're about to kiss. They honestly talk about, should we just have gay sex instead of waiting for girls to have sex with us? By the way, Mike, every girl at Riverdale High wants to have sex with them.
Also, and I guess there's been like some time jumps and stuff, but both of them have fucked a lot.
Uh-huh.
But now, are we still in the 50s?
Yes. And we're going to be in the 50s
maybe,
for the rest of the series.
Maybe the 50s them haven't fucked a lot?
Maybe. They decide, Archie's like, Reggie, I have an idea because of how horny we are. And when he says this, he grabs his penis and like pulls it down, like grabs his boner, which is the most realistic thing I've ever seen on television. Because
on Riverdale.
TV people don't get boners like real life boys get boners. Anyway, they go to a whorehouse and they're sitting in the lobby, and Twyla, the sex worker, comes out and says,
"Oh, I thought you meant from Schitt's Creek."
Says, "Who's first? Is it Archie or is it Reggie or is it both of you?" And Archie looks over at Reggie and Reggie looks over at Archie, and then they all three go into the room and they bone this hooker. And Mike,
E2 Mama?
I'm thinking, much like E2 Mama, Tambien, of course. Is this the gayest thing you can do without being gay? Is just to bang out a girl while staring into each other's eyes, high-fiving the entire time?
Devil's three-way. Yeah, even though in this year 2023 there's been so many women kissing women on a CW type of show, is this the as gay as we're allowed to have dudes be?
The male gayest that we have been, maybe. I don't know.
Because I know Jack was gay in Dawson's Creek, because CW was WB back in the day, but I don't know if he was ever allowed to kiss other dudes.
Right. That's the thing, is that like you could say you're gay and then but like he dresses so normal, and that's the drama of the episode, right? It's just that like it could be anybody.
Ryan, the secret they don't want you to know, you could just say you're gay. Nobody's going to stop you.
But yeah, like this was Archie and Reggie going into a room with a woman that they didn't want to be there, and it was so clear. And I think that's the case with most three-ways.
Probably. Ryan?
Yes.
Moment of our three-way?
Moment of our three-way, Mike, is when we actually asked the woman to leave the room. But a couple of other things real quick. Veronica and Jughead made out at the end of this episode. That is the most forced part.
That's crazy.
Reggie and Archie making out is so much more natural than Jughead and Veronica.
Yes.
Also, last week, Mike, you thought that I would not watch the episode. I did watch the episode, so my moment of the week is Ethel actually did win the beauty pageant.
What? Oh, yeah, because you didn't watch it for the show.
We had to record early, so yeah.
That's what it was. Ryan, what's your actual moment of the week?
Oh, it's Ethel winning the beauty pageant.
Oh, from last week.
Right.
Oh, is your moment of this week. Interesting. Riverdale's Wednesdays on the CW. Your next show is Invincible, presents Atom Eve. Backstory.
Probably because of Comic-Con, Amazon released an Invincible tweener, an episode between the first season and second season, which premieres in November. This hour details the origin story of Invincible's best character, Atom Eve, from two baby to jaded teenage hero. Taste buds, I ask you this. Does Invincible take you a second to get back into? And if so, were you able to jump back into this one?
No, I kept expecting it to. because I was like, oh, you're gonna be like gratuitous and like overly violent and lame, and it was overly violent when the Guardians of the Globe were fighting the Lizard League. Man, I love her life sometimes. But then it was just like everything. My fake issues with Invincible, I realized were my issues with like the first season of The Boys and Preacher. Invincible, I forgot how much it fucking ruled, man. No, this was a delightful hour of my week.
I mean, like, I think that some frog-voiced croaker said this in the beginning of the episode when they did like the top 3 of the things that we were going to talk about. But like, I think we should just become a show that talks about cartoons. Like,
should we stop doing live action shows?
The live action shit is boring, but the animate, like, this was. I can tell when they tried to save money, right? Like, I could tell by where they tried to cut corners. But the whole thing is that like Robert Kirkman co-wrote this episode with. I'm so sorry.
Was it with Otley?
Helen Lee?
No. Okay.
Who co-wrote a bunch of Outcast episodes. That was his Exorcism show.
I liked Outcast.
Sure.
I'm the one.
But this was
Ice Cold.
The most basic superhero tropes.
Yes.
Done with a little bit of originality, a little bit of like that whole what we missed, that Peter Parker, here's the actual character.
Right.
And like, I mean, what's going to stick out with me is not the fight on the freeway. What's going to stick out with me is I have never had a friend before. And now I have a friend, and now I'm going to show her how I can make this ball, and she's going to get scared. And like,
don't read my fucking mind,
and that
man.
hurts, and now we're not friends anymore.
When Eve showed her neighbor friend her powers and she left, I hurt.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
It was like you
I
with...
just watched Secret Invasion, so I didn't know a show could make me feel anything but disgust anymore.
It was like you with your devil sticks and showing a friend that like you could do this with 3 sticks at the same time.
Look at me, and they would just run away. Could not appreciate my talent.
But like, tell me how this revolutionized comic book TV. Like, that's not the goal of it.
No, sometimes it's not like change everything. It's here's the bar. I'm gonna hit that bar perfectly. Also, I don't understand the rules of gymnastics, but like, it's not changing anything, but it's doing it so well.
All right, so I agree with you totally, but I will bring up one thing. There's a baby replacement in the hospital. And Adam Eve's new father is just a piece of shit out of nowhere. Why is that,
this
Mike?
Prick.
Did the plot need that?
Dads suck. I don't think it has nothing to do with the baby replacement. He just sucks. There's so many moments.
There's a point where he's like, what, is she good at math? Fucking bitch.
Yeah, he's so mad that she's good at science and not other things instead of being proud that she's good at science. Dads are just awful. He says she's going to like a gifted school, and he's like, well, they're freaks. Look at you. Isn't that why you belong there? He says so many things like that. And her piece of shit mom is just like, well, you know your father.
Yeah, come on. He's liable to say awful things that will hurt you to your core.
They do this shitty sitcom thing where they forget her birthday. This is towards the end of the episode, so we've already seen 18 horrible things from her dad. And so she's like, well, I'm out all day superheroing because fuck them. They forgot my birthday. And then she gets home, and they're like, you're late for your own birthday? And then she's like, did you eat my cake, motherfucker? And he's like, you dare question me?
This piece of shit
cake?
is like, not only do I underappreciate my incredibly brilliant daughter, but I'll fucking eat her cake. If she's not home at 8 p.m., then I get to eat her entire cake.
I am so mad that you were late to plans that we didn't tell you. Ryan, when I tell you that I felt seen as a child in that moment, it uncovered memories I didn't know I had. And it fucked me up a little.
Your one giant step, that giant step being the ability to manipulate atoms in things away from Adam Eve. Like, that's basically your life. I
thought you meant my one giant step, parentheses, dad who was a fucking prick when I was a kid.
Yeah, I think everybody got that. I don't know, man. Like, I thought that the animation right away and the voice acting was awkward and stagey, and then within like the first 2 minutes, I was like, no, that's not true. No, this is awesome. This fucking rules.
What I love is the way this show attacks tropes without individuals. The Lizard League, there's so many versions of this in comics, But Tatiana Maslany plays the Lizard Queen.
Of course she does.
And love her. And her little boy, it's just Talia al Ghul and Damien before he meets Batman talking about how to fight and take over and be villains. And it was, but there was no like wink, see what we're doing. They just did it.
Right. So I guess maybe if this is your first episode of Invincible, just bear with it because they come in busting in like they are hardcore 80s supervillains. And then
not Cobra Kai, G.I. Joe.
Right.
Era
Just Cobra.
supervillains. Just Cobra.
Mike, moment of the week.
I got two, Ryan. Is Preteen Eve is going against a bad guy, and he says, "My name's Kill Cannon, not gets beat up by little girls cannon." That chuckled me. And then one of the best music cues we've heard in the entire 490 episodes, when she learns that she's flying, and she's like, "No, I'm going to be Superman." Decepticon by La Tigra comes on, and man, what a beautiful moment of this music and this scene. It was so good.
Those were great. What a great needle drop. Mine is going to be when her closest brother reveals the experiments have definitely devolved into reverse evolution, and they just keep throwing up grosser
bone
caveman mud piles.
Man, have the people of this show seen Akira?
Oh, for sure. But like very purposely, right? Like not stealing from. Let's get people on our page by doing Akira things.
Yes. A big wink and a nod. Invincible is on Amazon Prime. Watch this one as much as you can because we're not back until November. Your next show up is Harley Quinn.
On the first 2 episodes, 3 episodes were released. We're going to do 2 this week of Harley.
We're not crazy.
Of Harley Quinn. Harley is part of the Bat family and trying to figure out that you should not kill if you're part of the Bat family, while Harley is trying to become the CEO of the Legion of Doom and dealing with all the fucking toxic masculinity that is in that room. Mike, which plot line of those 2 is driving you more towards episode 3?
I was not naysayer, but I was kind of down on Ivy last season.
Mm-hmm.
And these 2 episodes fixed that shit. Her trying to, them being like, we're independent women away from each other. Let's not talk about work. I loved, but it's Ivy having to deal with the horse shit. Not only why this show is so smart, and I swear I'll finish this sentence one day without interrupting myself. I'm
not going to interrupt you. I refuse to interrupt you.
Thank you. The horseshit she has to deal with being in charge of dudes, and then the horseshit she has to deal with of other Sheryl Sandberg style lean in boss bitches. They're both gross and dumb. I've not seen a show handle that.
Do you know what else came back this week, Mike? Is Minx. And
I love Minx.
I love the comparison between Harley Quinn and Minx. Of this is just how things work, and in order to get my ultimate goal, I have to pretend like, oh no, you're doing fine. Hey, sweaty, hairy, disgusting person who pinched my ass. I guess I have to deal with that in order to get my actual goal across.
Right.
And I've always thought that Ivy was the worst part, not the worst part, but like the lesser part of Harley Quinn, and now I kind of think it's the better part.
At this point, we know Harley's gonna Harley. It's delightful, it's fun, but it's not surprising. And the Ivy stuff was like, oh shit, show.
Yeah,
I didn't know you had that.
And there's been a lot of things that came out over the last week about how Claire Bear. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, so Claire Bear is what people call, in the world of the bear's girlfriend on the show The Bear. You with me?
Okay.
And Claire Bear sort of introduced a new manic pixie dream girl to the world. And people are against that. Like, they're not cool with the fact that the bear from The Bear has a manic pixie dream girl. A lot of times when Ivy and Harley are together, it's a little like, all right, like, we get it. You're adorable. You're moving things.
Right.
Yeah. But when they're apart, I don't know. And then, like, they're keeping their separate jobs apart. Like, you're part of the Bat family. I'm part of the Legion of Doom. This is how we should do things. It
reminded me so much of one of my favorite cartoons of all time, Ryan, is Wile E. Coyote and the shaggy dog who you can't see his eyes.
Yeah. Check in, check out. Clock in, clock out.
The check in, check out. And then they're like, hey, how was your day? Like, this, like, we're friends outside jobs, all right? And
but you cannot handcuff Harley. Or, you cannot handcuff Ivy to get information out of her. Like, that is crossing lines.
And that was a hilarious scene. And then the Harley dealing with the Bat family, one I love, because in my world, only you and I have talked about how great Dick Grayson's ass is. Mm-hmm. I know the greater community has talked about it, but I have not. And I really love that. That was a plot point.
Couple of wife stories. Can we do wife stories?
Let's wife swap.
Wife swap.
Stories.
One, she did point out that at the big Galentine's Day dinner that Talia was at, Livewire was there. Mm-hmm. So my wife is a big fan of Livewire.
Really?
Yeah.
Because of My Adventures with Superman and Supergirl?
Yeah. So she's just grown up with Livewires, like this big Superman.
What a fucking nerd.
And now I don't remember the other part of the story.
No, keep wife swapping.
Okay. The other part is obviously, of course. No, I don't remember it.
Oh, I thought you'd get there. You had so much build-up. I thought you would get there. Harley having to hang out with Alfred and like very Mr. Miyagi, like you can learn to pour a tea. You can learn to be a superhero, except for that she didn't. And she was like, oh, all this is horseshit, except that Alfred is a bad guy now because he's about to get fired.
I didn't think that this show had any more new characters. And like, that's on me, Mike. Why would I think that this show did not have any new characters? But Alfred with his pink shirt. Mm-hmm. Love the pink shirt and the vest. Just being like, hey, I'm going to talk to you, Harley, and I'm going to do it with a calm British accent while we breathe a lot. And yet, when Harley goes to fight him, he says, I would love a bitch to try. And just says that as calmly as possible.
Is that going to be in our vernacular from now on, unfortunately?
And I hate how these two episodes ended with Alfred going to Blackgate Arkham instead of
Blackgate.
Blackgate. Like, that sucks. And my heart is out for Alfred.
And especially because we know that Bruce has a prison butler.
Yes. And nothing can make Alfred's eye twitch except for one thing, Bruce having a different butler. I love so much that I felt like no DC property was brave enough to be like, fuck Batman until this show existed. And it just keeps doing it. It's awesome. Yeah. I mean, with the two conversations about Harley Quinn and Secret Invasion, Mike, I'm thinking about making a switch.
Of we're all cartoons all the time now?
No, I'm just like, fuck Marvel,
You're
man.
DC boy?
I'm a DC boy. Born and raised. Like I've always said.
Raised. Spider who? Ryan, do you have a moment of the week?
Mike, I can't. I'm sorry. I already blew it, but I can't. When Alfred just looked straight at her and said, I would love to see a bitch try. When Harley was at her most quinniness, and he just said that. It was amazing.
Mine is one of the plot lines we haven't talked about much is Ivy is trying to replace all the male trees with female trees because male trees are the allergen. She needs Joker's help because Joker is the mayor. And she tells him, she wants to tell him all of her plan because that'll actually get the ball rolling. But he stops her because she's like, and then on Wednesday. And he laughs so hard. He's like, haha, yes, Wednesday's the most evil day to do anything. And then he thinks that. He's so out of the game that he's yes, fuck them in the middle of the week. And he thinks that is the evil part of the plan. It's so funny. And so, like, I'm an old guy who still gets it.
Also, I didn't ask you this. Around the table that Poison Ivy is trying to rule, that Legion of Doom, like, boardroom, did you recognize everybody?
Gorilla Grodd.
Who's an absolute piece of shit, believe it or not.
He wants to trick hot women into dating him.
He just wants to. He wants to Cosby out.
Black Manta, who I think would be on Ivy's side. I try to, this is the part of my nerd brain who had to stop to be like, well, why would they have a problem with what she's doing? I was like, Mike, fucking chill out. But obviously, a great entry into the wider populist canon is who's Cocaine Brain? What's his fucking name?
Oh, okay, Mike. So you don't want to go around the table. You want to cut right to the chase. You want to cut right to what I'm talking about, which is Snowflame, which is he dresses like Sunfire from the X-Men, just red on white. And I thought that obviously Harley Quinn is such a rated R show that like they added cocaine to his personality. Mike, turns out that's not true.
That's the craziest reveal. He's always loved cocaine.
Doing a deep dive on Snowflame. They call him Snowflake, and he freaks out. But that's how people do when they're on cocaine. His power is completely wielded by cocaine in the comic books. Like Scarface. Like, he's basically Scarface. Yeah. He just does lines and
Say
goes
hello
crazy.
to my little friend.
So that's my... did you say who is your role model of the week? Yeah. Mine is Snowflame.
Snowflame. Sure. Mine's Gorilla Grodd. I'm always just trying to grift girls into dating me. Harley Quinn is on Thursdays on HBO Max.
Too much of a show for us. Honestly, like, what an incredible show.
Too smart, too funny. I can't believe we watch live action shows. Ryan, we're not going to take a break. Quick nor fast. We are just going to go into these goddamn commercials, aren't we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's just fucking do it. Somebody's scrolling. We're all scrolling. We're all having fun. Ryan, why don't you tell everybody about another podcast?
Hey, buddy. While you're scrolling, why don't you listen to this? There's a Movie of the Year podcast that you should listen to.
What?
Right now, they are finishing up 1991, 2002. And once they're done with that, they're going to dive into 1973. And those are the two most important years. Why? Because they are 19 years apart. Wait, hold on.
2002 and 1973. Not
29 years apart.
19 years apart.
And that's crazy. So make sure that if you're on your podcast app right now, go in, subscribe to Movie of the Year. Also Unnatural 20s, right?
Sure. Listen to their 4-year-old episodes. Burn! You haven't done shit, girls.
Mike, things are really crazy with social media. This is a legit question. Where are we at right now?
That is a good question. We are at Your Pop Filter on Instagram.
Okay.
I could swear on a Gideon's stolen Bible that we're there right now. We are also on Blue Ski, but I don't know how to. I think it's like www.com/blueski/popfilter. I don't know how to get there, but we're there.
I mean,
we've skeeted once.
I bet there's a bunch of people clamoring. Can I get an invite to Blue Ski so I can see Pop Filter's threads? Right?
But we've only had one. We've skeeted once, and it was, I guess we're doing this now.
Oh, I love that classic early social media thing of like, random, awkward, guess I'm doing this now.
Isn't it so fun, though, because it's been a decade since we've gotten to do that?
Decade, my friend? It's been 20 years. You
oh, no,
fucking
decades.
You cobweb-headed piece of shit.
I miss my space. Also, I think the actual best way to... No, we are on Instagram. The best way to reach us is contact@popfilter.co. We will actually read those at least once a week. Look, I'm not going to promise we're on there every day. Do I forget that we have that email sometimes? Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Are we going to do it once a week? No. Are we going to do it once a month? Probably not.
Maybe. Every quarter? Definitely.
Quarterly? I doubt it.
Okay, yearly? We
absolutely
are there
not.
At popfilter.co. Okay, every decade, popfilter.co.
Nah.
I think that's it.
Amazon?
Oh, yeah, we didn't do websites. Popfilter.co is where all the shit we make is. Popfilter.co/Amazon is where you can go.
And Mike,
July is about to end.
Where did you get your cape and your blood mouth packets and your fake fangs? Tell everybody.
I got those from the Halloween store that refuses to close down the street, or at popfilter.co/Amazon.
There we go.
Ryan, next week on, maybe all four of us will be here.
Doubt it.
But no matter who is here, we're definitely talking about Heartstopper returns, and so do the Shushies. Enough said.